ni kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹwọ́n.
Ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
Ọmọ ọba ni kò
Bàbá
ṣẹrú.
mi ò gbànígbà ní ojú ọ̀nà ó ṣe gbámú. Òsán-gìrì lágìrì, ọ̀làgìrì gàgà.
Ọmọ ọba ni
Àtọ́gbọ́n
kò
arẹ́rẹ́
ṣẹrú.
bàbá mi ò wọ kẹbẹ̀rẹ̀ jíjọ. Jagunmọ́ lòdì ọ̀rọ̀, àpáńlá ti jó tọ̀hún tọ̀hún.
Okay. Good day wherever you come in from. This is another edition of MC Nigeria Grassroot movement, and they want to do an intro to our
Hello, Mr. Shea.
Alright.
Just to confirm, I think that the internet is breaking a bit, I think due to some slow connection. So we can barely hear you. So what I'll probably do is, let me go ahead and share my screen. So, and then we can sort of check your internet connection as we go. So hello, everyone. So welcome to today's event. So welcome to the MCT Niger, the Grassroot event. So this is the event that the mentees get to connect with mentors in various technology fields, and just being able to connect to people that are sort of like on the cutting edge of technology, people that are doing amazing things in the tech world, and being able to ask your questions, learn from their experiences, so that we can go a bit faster, not repeat the same mistakes that people have made in the past, and also just get to share knowledge with each other. So welcome again. So I'll be a support moderator for today. So, but we have Mr. Sheyi Oluwawumiju, and we have Olana that will be doing the moderation today. So just some quick word of thanks to our sponsors. So thanks very much to Microsoft for sponsoring this event, and for making it possible for us to bring this event to you. So again, the purpose of this event is we are connecting experts with mentees. You're able to ask any questions that you may have from a cloud perspective, from a technology perspective, and also from a personal experience perspective. You get to also understand and learn what's new in the digital workspace environment or the ecosystem. So some quick information before we proceed. So we do have the different MCT groups in Nigeria and actually all over West Africa. And we have different user groups that are focused on different technology areas that you can connect with. So if you stick with us towards the end of the event, we'll actually share with you links for how you can get yourself connected into one of these communities and you can get to participate with people of like mind. So, quick information on our different on our moderators for this for our moderators for this event. So we have Oluwase Yoluwawumiju, who will be the lead moderator, who is actually the one that's putting together the program. So Sheyi is one of the main community leaders that we have in sort of like the tech ecosystem in Nigeria. So he's done amazing things contributing to the communities and all just true community person. I used to mention that anytime that Sheyi speaks, I learned something about being contributing to the community from him. He's a true community person. So it's always a pleasure to hear him speak. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be over here myself as sort of like a support moderator in case we have any connectivity issues like what happened earlier. But we also have Olana that will also be joining with the moderation today. So just co-moderating with Sheyi. Hello, Olana, how are you doing today?
Hi, David. I'm good. I'm good, thank you. And I'm excited to be here today.
Awesome. And we're glad to have you here with us today. We know you're a very, very busy person. You have a lot of different tech communities that you're always contributing to. Yeah, and typically weekend is just like a very busy time, for you just in general, apart from all the amazing things that you do during the week. Okay, what I'll probably do is I'll check. Sheyi, are you good with the network connection? Are you able to say something? Let's check that you're good. Oh, I think that Sheyi is still not good. I think that we can not hear Sheyi yet. Okay, so what we'll do is that Olana and myself, let's just go ahead while we wait for Sheyi's internet connection to be back. Okay, so Olana, why don't we go ahead and introduce our guest for today? So the first guest that we have today is Olajumoke Toriola. So Jumoke is a Chief Technology Officer at Ashem Limited, which is one of the top Microsoft partners in Nigeria. So Jumoke, again, she's someone that I also was just fortunate to meet as part of engaging with the different tech communities. She's done amazing things in the Nigeria tech community and tech industry. She's mentored a lot of people, helped a lot of people understand tech in sort of like the African space, and also just really being someone that a lot of people look up to in the community. So welcome, Jumoke. How are you doing today?
Hi, David. Good to be here.
Yes,
I'm doing very well. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Jumoke. It's amazing having you here today. When I saw you were on, I get excited, and I can't wait to ask you the ton of questions that I have lined up for you. And I'm also sure that our guests are pretty excited, and I'm sure they will be sending in tons of questions and a lot of things that they would want to learn from you.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Olana. Thank you, David. I'm super glad to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me. Thank you, Sheyi, for putting this beautiful session together, this event. I mean, I can't wait to get started. So I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. So, Olana, do you want to introduce the next speaker? Probably someone that you know very well.
Yes. So, Foyin Bello is our next speaker. She is a senior solutions architect. And yes, I've been opportune to work with Foyin a few times, right? And I can say that she has, great love for what she does, especially when it comes to Power Platform. She's one of our lead user groups, and it's really exciting. So she's someone I used to see first on social media. Then I had the opportunity to, get to know her all close up. And I'm really excited that we have Foyin here today because she has been doing a lot of great stuff, especially when it comes to women. She's really passionate about getting women into tech. From the left, right, up, down, Foyin is your go-to person when you want to lay your hands in anything regarding tech, especially when you're a woman. She doesn't joke with you, right? Foyin, we are excited to have you here. I cannot wait to know the secret behind the power you put into all of this and how we can also get to that point. So thank you so much, Foyin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to be here today. Thank you, Shay, for also inviting me on and putting this together.
Yeah, awesome. And our next speaker is Lebohang Madise. So Lebohang is one of the people that's really been supporting just the community in Nigeria altogether. So I just met Lebohang, I think maybe just about 2 weeks ago, and you can tell from the initial conversation, it just again about the passion to get to have people develop, passion to get tech really into the grassroots of our different communities. One of the things that I learned from Sheyi, whenever he talks, is he says, when it comes to Africa, the untapped talent is in the grassroots, and I can feel the same energy when with the last time when I had my first conversation with Lebohang. So Lebohang, welcome today. I can't see Lebohang on, so I think that maybe some internet connection has caused maybe some disconnection. So I think we'll come back to Lebohang. So, and Olana, I'll let you introduce our last speaker, and definitely not the least for and so Olana, over to you.
Definitely not the list. So Laurie is our next speaker. Laurie is somebody that is really passionate about the community. Everything that has to do with the community, she wants to, bring her A game. She wants to get everybody involved. And we're really excited to have her here. For all of us who wants to be a part of something, who wants to get connected, who wants to start up in tech, who wants to know more about Microsoft, about the cloud, Laurie is here for us all. Send in all your questions, everything you need to know around tech, around getting into one community or the other, how you need to get started. Laurie, please go ahead. I can't wait to have you answer all of our questions.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to get to talk with everybody and share a little bit about my own story. I'm the community lead for Microsoft Teams at Microsoft, and have a little different path into tech. So I'm super passionate about bringing other women and different people into technology. I'm excited to be here to talk about it.
Great, welcome.
Awesome. Thanks very much for that, and thanks very much for joining us, wonderful speakers. So what we're going to do is that we're going to get right into it, right? People are really looking forward to that. So let's get right to the first question, and this question will be directed to really everyone. And the first question is, can you tell us your story? How did you get to where you are today? How did you get started in tech? And what sort of driven your progress to really get you to where you are today? So if we just have maybe a few minutes of word from all our speakers on that question. So actually, I think that we have Sheyi back. Sheyi, are you good? Hello, are you able to hear me? Sheyi, are you good? Can you hear me? Oh, I think that we're still having some issues with Sheyi's internet connection. So, okay, so let's get started with that. I think that let's just go in the order. So should we start first with Foyi? So tell us your story. How did you get to where you are today? I remember the first time that I probably really heard about Foyi was watching the Microsoft Ignite event, and it was Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella playing a video and going, and I remember taking a screenshot and going, look at this, there's a Nigerian. And then she was part of that group, and I didn't know she was part of that group. So tell us your story, Foyi. How did you even get started in tech to begin with?
Oh dear, David, you're putting me on the spot. I was like, okay, I'm going to listen. Jumoke will probably go first. I'll listen to how she flows, and then I'll just go through the same approach. Okay. Well, so I studied computer science in school and got straight into an IT consulting firm where I spent about 9 years dealing solely on Microsoft solution stack. So we're all about helping the knowledge worker do more using SharePoint intranet. Back then, the cloud wasn't very big like now. So we're dealing with with servers and installations and all of that. And then automations using the SharePoint designer tool for platforms, third-party tools like Nintex and K2. So that's kind of my everyday life, document management solutions. And after that, I moved into the bank, spent a couple of years there, and now I'm with Avanade. So that's kind of very briefly how I've progressed my tech journey over the years.
Hmm.
How did I get here? I would talk a bit more about it when I answer some of my questions going forward. But it was more okay. How did I get on Satya's video? It was more about community, right? It was just community work. I just have this passion to make things better than I met it, right? So anywhere I get to,
Hmm.
I try to see, okay, where are the gaps here? How do I make it better? For example, when I got into the bank and I joined the team I was in, we were having to wait for each other
Hmm.
to send weekly reports. So I had to wait for one person, then the person would fill in the section of the report and send my email. I'm like, there's co-authoring. Why are we doing this? We have all the tools, put it up, share the link, and we can all co-author at the same time. So that's such a very simple example of the kind of person I am, right? I'm all about getting things done. How can we make it better? And I
Hmm.
try to bring in new ideas to make people more efficient and more effective, which was
Hmm.
kind of how I got into Power Apps because I like a friend introduced Power Apps to me and I said I was much better than info platforms, right? So why would I use info platforms to automate processes? So I started doing Power Apps and helping the business users solve their problems, automating their processes. And I discovered that a lot of us were struggling to learn at that time because
Hmm.
the technology was very new, especially in Nigeria. So I said, okay, let's form a local user group, let's all come together and learn this tool together. And we
Hmm.
started, gradually from what on WhatsApp group, started adding all of my friends that were doing info parts and say, oh, Power Apps is here, you need to jump on it. Info part lovers, Power Apps is here. So that was basically it. And it was just all about sharing knowledge and helping others and even within the organization, also getting people to learn the tools. And I was just doing my own stuff. And then I got the notes from Donna to say, oh, we want to take a video of what you've been doing. We think it's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And that's
Hmm.
how I found myself on Satya's keynotes.
Wow.
So
Wow.
so it's like none of it was ever planned. It was just me looking for how to make things better, how to help
Hmm.
other people, and that's kind of how everything happened. And that's kind of the same way how I got my MVP. I didn't even know how to become an MVP.
Hmm.
I just knew we had two MVPs in Nigeria,
Yeah.
Sheyi and David Brown, and that was it.
Mm.
So when I got a message saying, "Oh, I recommended this become an MVP," I said, "Oh, okay. I don't even know what's involved in it." So that's kind
Wow.
of how
Wow.
how that's my story.
So
Very
if I
short.
get the story right, so you took a much more traditional route of you went to study computer science and you just followed the path from computer science all the way through. But then in terms of the progress that you've made, you just sort of looked for opportunities to fill the gaps, opportunities to go, how can we make this better than what it currently is? And that's a very important secret, ladies and gentlemen, on this call, right? Very, very powerful secret. Look for ways to make things better. So,
Yeah.
Olana, I'll leave you to ask the same question to our fellow guest or to our other guest.
Yeah, I would really love Jumoke to go next because just like for you, I can't wait to hear her story. I mean, she is CTO of one of the largest tech companies in Nigeria. I want to know how that happened because I know a lot of young ladies out there,
Oh,
they want to get to that point. I also want to get to that point. So how did you make that Jumoke?
thank you, Olana. It's so I'll just start by saying that I wanted to be a doctor for the record. Really, I wanted to read medicine. I wanted to be so, and in 1998, I did my jump, and then the joint admission matriculation board that we are all used to, and then I had a score of 232. But then the University of Ogun State, maybe then I would have met Foyi somehow, or maybe she would have just been sorry. So to say, the cutoff mark was 233, and there was just one mark off it. And then
Wow.
they gave me microbiology. And out of our lawyers, I said, but an indigen of the same state, and then giving me so. And then so it happened that later on I had to do the polytechnic exam, the other exam, and then I had to go to Yabatech, and I ended up reading electrical. So I think it was divinely arranged because at the end of the day, I mean, reading electrical, I happened to be we're just two female. in the class,
Wow.
really, in the whole
Wow.
of my department. And then I think I was the only one that scaled at the end of the day out of the female, So it was quite
Wow.
tough, I had to be in the midst of guys and all of that.
Wow.
And then so after leaving school, the very first day I finished writing and doing my defense, so to say, defense, I mean, you defend your project. Still, I found myself in action. And then with the culture in place there, already there's when you come in to come and learn, you have to go through the training. So I ended up going to Aptech straight off.
Wow.
So I started my journey on AdSec and I started reading computer science. I think that was the year of the 2003, Windows Server 2003. And then, I mean, I happened at least to be a bit backward with 2000, Windows Server 2000. So I started my career like that. And then during that same period, it was the one solution that was really scary that anybody going into then was the Microsoft Exchange server. So I just one thing about me is that anything that is tough is what I like to go into. I mean, I just want to be. So what is it that is tough about this thing that? So I started my journey there, and the very first 2007 exam, I mean, Exchange server deployment I did. It was then for Wema Bank. I could still remember that, and it was quite interesting, the ups and downs. That gave me a lot of encouragement to pull through. Then I had the boss. Well, if you finish, it will give you a lab. Once you finish doing your lab, and then you are so excited that you've gone, you just pull it down again and say start all over again. So I didn't know that was giving me the no, it was helping me then. So it it's been that kind of journey. So I found myself from being a technical trainee. I started as a trainee in action. From being a trainee, I moved to a technical engineer. From a technical engineer, I moved to a team lead. From being a lead to the HOD, and I'm finally now the CTO of Hashem, which I've been in for about 2 to 3 years now. And it's been like that. The journey has been very interesting. It has been very challenging, but I'll tell you, it has been very rewarding at the end of the day. So that's a bit of me.
So I don't know. If a person is not inspired at this point, I don't know what more they want from being a trainee to being a CTO of an organization. So that is how much opportunity there is in tech and how you can grow, basically. Thank you so much, Jumoke. That was inspiring.
And the thing that Jumoke, one of the things that Jumoke said that really stood out to me was that she took on like the tough challenges, right? So there was Exchange server then, and many people were drawing a little bit back from that, but then she was like, yeah, I can take that on. And she took that on. And
so I've actually heard about the Exchange server because I didn't work with the Exchange server. And most of the time I always get to see men talk about it. Oh, we did this with Exchange. This is like the first time I'm seeing a woman talk about the Exchange server. Honestly, this is like the very first time I'm seeing a woman talk about the Exchange server.
Oh God.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks very much for that, Jumoke. And Lonnie, I can't wait to hear your story, right? So currently currently a community lead at Microsoft, which is one of the top 5 tech companies in the world, definitely, right? Doing amazing things with amazing innovations being released day by day. What's your story? How did you get started in tech? How did you get to where you are today?
Well, I'm humbled by everybody else's stories so far. My story is a little bit different. I went to a liberal arts college in Middle America and in Columbia, Missouri. And I live on the West Coast and wanted to get away. And so I thought I wanted to be a teacher. And similarly, I took the one class and it happened to be working with preschoolers. And I decided I don't want to be a teacher. I'm not going to be good at this. So I moved into communications and business, and I actually have a degree in communications and marketing. And when I graduated school, I, for about 9 years, did large scale events. So I did big festivals and events, and and traveled all around and did that for the first part of my career until the early 2000s. And now I'm dating myself, but when we had, the market turned and we weren't able to do events anymore, I had a recruiter call me who happened to be from, it was a third-party recruiter, I suppose, but she told me about this opportunity at a high-tech company. And I chuckled because I had a computer lab in college, but I didn't own a computer. I had a word processor, and that's how I did all my papers and everything. It just wasn't a focus of that time. There weren't many people that I knew that were in computer science. That was like Greek to me. At my school, we didn't have any courses on that. And it just wasn't an interest area. I didn't know anything about it. And so coming from an event background, this recruiter told me that there was a position that would be really good for me that took my knowledge from what I was doing and my experience, but applying that to technology. So I took a leap and I started working for this company called Microsoft. And then now I've been there for 17 years. And it was, I know that seems so old. Your mother used to tell you she had shoes that were that old. Like, what? Who is even? Anyway, so I've been there a long time, but I've really learned my tech. Like the tech skills that I have are learned on the job. I work with incredibly smart people. I learn something new every single day. But I think really what took me to where I was kind of just serendipity. But, since I've been there, I've been able to be very successful, I think, because I come from a different background. I have something to share that maybe others who studied computer science and got deep in the tech maybe don't think about. And so I'm able to offer a different perspective. And I think that's what's really important about technology as a whole, is that it takes people from all different backgrounds, from all over the world, to really come together and build something if it's going to be something that's used by everybody. So that's my path, non-traditional.
Wow. That's a very, very interesting story. And I'm not sure if Alana has a comment to that, but the thing that sort of stood out to me with what you just said now, especially your last point, which is one of the reasons why we're here today, right? That if technology is going to really be impactful, it has to be contributed to by everyone, because it's going to be used by everyone. And having like an exclusionary mindset or approach where certain groups of people are excluded from being able to contribute to technology regardless of their background is actually detrimental to technology's advancement as a whole, right? Because there are perspectives that we all need to bring together for everything to be able to move forward. That's powerful. I'm not sure if there's anything that Alana wants to share with that, and then we can move straight to the next question.
Yes, of course. So I always, there's something I always get to tell people who wants to get into tech and they have doubts about it. You not coming from a tech background actually gives you an advantage because you already have a use case. You already have something to apply it to. So you already basically you have this background knowledge. You're already an expert in something. You just need to use tech to automate whatever you're doing or to make it better. But I would have to struggle to look at where I can apply it. Or you already have like a use case, you already have where you can apply it. So I think that is the case with Lori. That is why she is successful today in tech. So that basically takes away the doubts from people who are looking at getting into tech, but not really know if it is, the good, a better path for them or not. So here you go.
Awesome. And I think that what we'll probably do next is, from what I can see, I think we have a question for Jumoke, then a question for Debohang, then Foyin, then Laurie. So we'll go in that order. So in case some of our guests want to go grab a cup of tea or coffee, we'll just put you in the background so we don't keep you all on the screen. So, because the next question goes first to Jumoke, so let's go for that first question. So, Jumoke, then Lebohang, then Foyin, then Laurie. Okay. So, I think this is for me to ask this question, and then Olana, you'll be asking the next question. So, and Jumoke, what's the best advice that you can give to help plan a career rather than simply working a job? This is a loaded one. So there's a lot of ladies out there that are looking to have a career like you. You've built your career over multiple years, right? Not just a job for you. What advice can you give to anyone that's looking to build the same thing?
Oh, okay. I think because I said I like tough things, and then I guess you guys started to give me a tough one. Yeah. All right. Okay, beautiful. First of all, I like one thing I normally tell people is I'll come to the part of you having to the career path. But one of the things I used to tell people is this. First thing is in life, really, irrespective of whether or irrespective of your background, irrespective of your educational background or your family background or your reputation and whatsoever, one thing I understand is that God gave everybody, and that is time. Those four-letter word time is unique to, is equal to everyone. I do not have a 25th hours than you. You have to, every one of us have 24 hours equally. And how you make use of that 24 hours daily actually determines the next, how you're different from the next person, really. I'll tell you the truth. I do not believe that anyone is born a Superman or anybody is born with some form of, I know I can talk about special gifts, I can talk about people born, but then what I used to tell is that nobody is born a dollar or nobody is born not to succeed. So have that at the back of your mind. Whatever it is now a matter of dedication and then what you do with your time. Now, in talking about the career path, one of the things I'll tell you is this, and I think I've had the opportunity, maybe Foyin talking about is a very good friend, being a very good friend and a very good sister. I think Textile is another foundation we co-founded, and then one of the things I've had the opportunity to talk about is building a career path. One thing you have to have at the back of your mind when you want to draw a career path is also doing what is referred to, like I said, a personal smart goal for yourself. What I mean by having a personal smart goal is having something that is what specific, drawing a plan that is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and then it is also time based, so to say. So you have that plan for yourself at the end of the day. Now, there are opportunities out there. There are many career opportunities there. So you want to discover, you want to learn about them, you want to make findings about what are those potential options that I have out there as pertaining to my career, really, or the careers that are out there. Again, you want to be able, you yourself will discover what are your own skills. I'm someone that I said I like to look at tough things and then try to sit down and then make sure that okay, those tough things I want to untie the puzzle. That's me. Look at those things that match your personality, that match your skills. Identify those careers out there that also match those skills that you think you have. Then make sure with your smart goals that you've run for yourself or you've drawn out for yourself, and also by the way, I would say that also draw up what is called the SWOT plan. These are the two things actually time I'm mentoring people. These two things are the first introduction I give to them. I want to come up with your smart goal, come up with also what is referred to as SWOT plan. I don't know whether any one of you know about SWOT plan. What I mean here is that your strengths, your weakness, your opportunities, and also the threats that you have out there. Now, two of them are internal, the other ones are external. When I talk about the strengths and weaknesses are actually what internal to you. When you look at the opportunities and threats, they are external to you. So you draw up those maps as pertaining to a career path. Now, when you plan for yourself, then come to do what careers that are out there. Now, look at also the markets. What is happening there in the job market? A friend of mine recently was going outside the country, and she was asking me, what am I supposed to, what do you think I can do, because I'm tagging along my wife. And I said, okay, yes, you're going out with your, what did she study in school? What's her skill set? Now, what you've learned in school, funny enough today, most times may not be what you are going to succeed with in the market. So I'm not disputing what you have learned in school. Don't get me wrong. That's an addition. But there are certain, why I'm saying that, because in the Nigerian setting, a lot of us go to school to learn things, and then when we come out to the job market, we find that those are not the things we are actually going to use. Wherever you find yourself, really make sure that whatever skills you can build or you can use to succeed in that area, try to develop it. And then when you try to develop it, part of your developing it will be more, even making more how will I put it, research around that career option you want to, or that career path. Apart from that, what you can also do is that, what are the certifications here that can make me have a better position in the job market? So you look at certification that up to today, I'm telling you, and thanks to COVID-19, one of the blessings it has done in my life is, like I say, every quarter, at least I get to do at least 2 exams. So during the COVID-19 period, last year, I had a lot of exams that I did. So one of the things I used to tell, make sure that you do certification around those career paths that can position you in the job market very well. So you can draw up a plan, which must be part of your plan, your SMART goal, really. You can draw up a SMART goal that career should be certification should be once in a quarter. And at the end of the year, you can look at it that you've already had about 3 3 certification, really. So those are some of the things I used to tell people. It's not just like the question is being asked. One, draw up a SMART goal for yourself. You can, in addition to that, draw up a SWOT plan for yourself. I do a SWOT analysis oftentimes. So don't think it is only for business. It is even for you as an individual. Draw up what is called a SWOT analysis for yourself. You can know your strength. You can know your weakness. See how you can channel all of those to help you towards a good career path. Again, the next thing you want to do is that you also look at the career options out there. Those career options out there, make sure that, okay, those matches your skills. So you can go to the school. For me, like I used to tell people, if today, when I was growing up, our family lawyer used to tell my father that, I don't know, this person should be a lawyer. He has this powerful voice. When she's in, people will just keep. That is an angle for me that I tap into in the future. I like also teach. I like to teach people. I like to just, so it became something for me that, okay, want to start teaching people. I started growing even before becoming an MVP. I started teaching, gathering people, trying to teach, being an MC. And then anytime I learn something, I want to say it out. I want to gather a few people and then teach them about it. That's something. Before you know it, you become discoverable in the marketplace. And before you know it, at the end of the day, you've just seen that a career path is already growing for you. And then most importantly, always keep up to the requirements around that career path you have chosen, which is mostly the qualifications. Do not take it for granted that you need to get qualified most times. I mean, get ready for things like, just draw up a plan just once in a quarter. Just look for the exam that matches your career path, especially in the technology space, and do just one exam. Again, you have opportunities even for exams out there that are free. I'm telling you, a lot of the times, make use of the Microsoft Learn. And that brings me back to where I started from, which is how do you make use of your 24 hours in a day? The
Mm.
social, the social, the internet is great, quite all right. I mean, Google is great, Facebook is great, Twitter, LinkedIn, but then what constructive um, interaction really are you having with each of them?
Mm.
There are a lot of things on Google you can learn from. There's a lot of things on Microsoft Learn. Even on
Mm.
Twitter, you can have constructive, look for communities on there
Mm.
that you can learn from. So that would be my answer
Yeah, that's very, very
to
good.
anyone out there.
That was very, very good, okay. And one of the things that you really said that that stood out to me is one has to have a plan. And then the other thing that you said that also stood out to me is one has to look for ways to contribute. Right? You mentioned something about in teaching others, you found out that you were actually growing in knowledge yourself in teaching other people. Right. And then in some cases, you begin to find career paths beginning to open up to you that you didn't think of before. And I can attest to what Jumoke is
Yeah.
saying because in my own personal life, that's been true, right? So I can remember I started putting videos on YouTube because I was frustrated at work and I was looking for just an outlet. And I started putting videos on YouTube, and then it's led to other career plans. Sorry, other career paths that I didn't even know of. With people going, can you help us with these videos? Can you do this for us? So, and it's just interesting, like when you see like those sort of like synchronization in sort of like approaches. That's awesome. Thanks very much for that, Jumoke. I'm not sure if Olana has a question, a comment, and then I'll let you ask the next
Well,
question to.
just a bit to add to what you said. I think one of the things I've learned from, or that I even got to apply myself, is building certifications around your career path. So you have
Mm,
identified a path for yourself. Why not get certified in that path? So I know at the early stages of my career, I really did put in a lot of work into getting certifications around the career path that I had chosen, and that really opened a lot of ways for me. That I was, I was picked out of the crowd, so to speak,
mm,
and put
mm,
in my in a path whereby I could easily get things done, and I could learn from people who had industry experience.
mm,
So yes, building certifications early around your
mm.
career path is also like a good win for you. Thank you so much, Jumoke. Great.
Yeah. Thanks very much. So, okay, over to you, Olana, and next speaker.
Okay, so as you know, Legon is not here.
I think she's having a challenge with her internet. Sorry, she's driving. She's actually driving, but she'll get back once she has access to do that.
Okay, great. So fine. This next question is for you. How would you, I know you've talked so much around how you got into tech, but now how would you describe your personal style? What has helped you with all of the things that you have achieved so far? What are your different approaches basically to them?
All right. So personal style. When I saw this question, I was like, what, like personal style? What do you mean? So it's fine. First of all, I believe in moderation in everything you do. I believe that we need to be moderate, whether you're dressing, whatever you're talking, everything needs to be moderate, right? So that's then I also believe in being prepared. So if you need to speak at an event, you need to do a presentation, whatever it is that you need to do, I believe in preparation. Preparation is like really key. I also believe that my only competition is myself. So I wake
Hmm.
up each day and I'm like, what value did you add to yourself yesterday? How are you pushing yourself beyond your comfort zone? What are you doing at the moment that makes you better than who you were yesterday? And that's kind of what has kept me going. And I'm in this endless race of becoming a better version of myself. So even when I was working in my previous organization and people see me like I'm always striving, they're like, oh, maybe she wants to become the boss here, and I'm like, it's not about you, it's about me.
Yeah, exactly.
I compete with myself every day because I want to become a better version of myself. I want to be able to say I couldn't do this before, but I can do it now. So that's one of the biggest things. And like I said, I like to make things better than I met it. So wherever I find myself, wherever I am, I see, okay, how can I improve what it is that is going on here at the moment. So yeah, those are the basic highlights. And then also value. One important question we all need to ask ourselves at every point in time is, what value do I carry, right? Because life is all about value. So what value do I carry? The organization I'm in at the moment, what value do I have? So the value question is a question that we need to continuously ask ourselves. And it's the question that pushes you to do more. Because when you can't really see the value that you have, then you need to start to acquire more skills, like Jumoke has said. You need to start to think about, how do I make myself more valuable? So that's kind of me, like my personal style, things that drive me and keep me going.
All right, so you actually said my mind at the end of your speech, because you said, just like what Jumoke has said, putting a plan in place. So what your response to this question basically just sits perfectly on what Jumoke had said before now. Putting a plan in place, something that is achievable, trying to be a better version of yourself. I think that's really a great style for it to have taken you this far, for you to have achieved so much. That is something that is worth emulating, basically. Thank you so much for it. All
Thank
right,
you,
David,
Alana.
can we have our next question?
Yeah. Yes. So we have a next question, and the next question will be to Laurie. So let's go. Laurie, welcome back. So the next question, I think this is the question for Laurie, but I'll combine it with another question because there are actually two questions that we do have for Laurie here. So, which is, how do you balance your work and your home life? And a follow-up question to that would be, do you have any books that you suggest for anyone that's up and coming to read? So, and also just looking at sort of like the question of just balancing work and home life. It's one that I, speaking with Sheyi earlier, right? It's like, how do you do that? Right? You're working in the community. You're helping other people. You're mentoring other people, and you're working you're working at a job and you're getting better at that job. How do you balance all of this all together and make everything all fit together, with, not falling apart?
Well, I don't know if I'm not falling apart. I I have my moments. This is a hard one, and I have a hard time answering this because I don't want to come across like I have it figured out, because I don't have it figured out. I think there's a lot of room for improvement with my work-life balance. I think that's something that I struggled with for quite some time, but I do have some tips that have improved things, and so I will share that. I am a single mom of two kids. I have a 12-year-old, almost 13-year-old daughter, and I have a 15-year-old son. So middle school and high school, and they keep me busy with sports and activities and everything else. So I've really tried to remember that they're here for such a limited time, and that needs to be my priority right now. But I get I have my moments. So what I like to do is just figure out how can I be present in the times that they need me the most, and figure out how to block my calendar for those things, and know that there are certain things on my calendar that won't move. And so for the morning time, I want to be present for them. I don't want them to eat breakfast by themselves. I don't want them to have to make their own lunches without me being around, and for me not to say have a good morning and goodbye. So I block my calendar out from 7:30 to 9 a.m. every day. There are occasions where I have to take a meeting, but typically if I have to take a meeting during that time, I'll do it from my cell phone and just have it playing in the background. I really try to keep that start of the day open for family. That's not to say that I don't come in and work earlier or, be on my phone. in the morning before things get started. But that's important to me to start that day off with them and to sit down and have breakfast. I didn't have that growing up. My mom was a teacher and she was a single mom, and we were kind of on our own. So for me, that's just something that's important to me. But one thing that I've done, because I used to work from home, even before COVID, I worked from home. I had my office in the house, and I felt like I was just always working, because if I were to sit on my sofa and watch TV, I could see my office right there. And it was just always looming. And so I would just work and work and work. And so one of the things that I did during COVID is I built an office away from my house, like in my backyard, a little. So where I'm standing right now is not my house. And that has been really good for me. It enables me to walk outside, close the door when I'm finished, and be finished, as opposed to having it around me. And I think that even if you have a small space, you're not able to, have a space in your backyard, if you're even in an apartment, I think it's really important to have a workspace and a life space. And so whether that's, a corner of, a room that you can, put a not a gate, but, put some sort of screen up in front of to kind of separate yourself. I don't like the idea of working in the bedroom or working at the dining room table, because I feel like we just never feel disconnected. And especially right now with everybody working from home, I think that's just really important to kind of somehow create that separation for you, so that you don't feel like you're always in the office, because so many of us, our homes are our offices right now. And then as for, so work-life balance is always a struggle. When I take vacation or when I take a personal day off, I will turn off my notifications in Teams. I really, sometimes if I'm on an actual vacation, I will remove apps from my phone. I will remove Outlook. I will remove Teams. And I just won't look at it. And that has been the only thing that has helped me actually take time, because I'm one of those people that always has to check, and I get a notification and I look at it right away. So removing the apps from my phone has significantly improved my time away from the office. So that's probably it for work, home life balance. But yeah, I did have a book actually. And this was recommended to me. It's called That's What She Said. And this was recommended to me by one of our regional directors and MVPs, Martina Grum. She mentioned it a couple of years ago, and I bought it right away, because it talks a lot about women working with men in different industries, and for men, how to work with women. And I think, one of the things that I've learned, and it's probably no secret, is that women have a different, here, let me give you the author. So it's Joanne Littman. Where's the camera? Joanne Littman. And she is the author of this book. I don't know Joanne, so yeah. I'm just sharing this because I've enjoyed the book. But I think, in technology and even in other industries, women have a hard time typically saying what they want or speaking up and talking about what they want in their next role, or if they want to have a raise and so on. And one thing that I've noticed with managing the Microsoft Teams MVP program is the lack of women. And I realized that, women in tech, we have a smaller pool to pull from. However, I do think that women as a whole have a hard time putting their name in the hat, because they assume they're not qualified. And men oftentimes will put their name in the hat because they have a couple of the tick boxes checked, and just go for it. And so, what this book kind of really reiterated for me is to let women know when they have opportunity, invite them into things because they oftentimes won't do that themselves. So, I've done that for the MVP program, for speaking opportunities. I started the Women in Teams community to just get to know more of our female community members on a more personal level, but just on a more frequent basis to have the opportunity to connect and understand what they're doing. And so, yeah, it's been a really great book. And in the back, there's a cheat sheet with all of the high level tips and takeaways for men and women working together.
Awesome. That was really, really powerful, Lovey. You mentioned a lot of very powerful things just right there. So number one thing is just to say, I mean, I'll let Olana also comment on what you said. Definitely have it put together better than I do. You're able to manage two kids. That's way much better than I can manage. So you're doing very well there. But one of the things that you said that really just hit me was when you said being able to create that disconnection, because sometimes you just get all wrapped up together, and that's sort of like, I think that's probably where I am at the moment, where work and home is just sort of all wrapped up together in one piece, right? So work phone is also home phone. It's also the phone that you use to communicate with family, or work can communicate with you through that. And it's just sort of like just looking for ways to create that disconnection, to say, okay, I'm disconnected from work now, I'm just about home stuff now. So that was really powerful.
Yeah, and I think that's new for so many people now. People used to go into the office, and I know people are starting to, in some areas, go back, but that was new for a lot of people to all of a sudden be at home and have to deal with that.
And I'll let Orlando comment again, but one of the other things that you said that also hit me was, in many cases, we have to understand that we need to invite women into opportunities, because I think I can also say that I've seen such scenarios before where the opportunities, and maybe men are sort of thinking, why doesn't she just go for it, right? And what you said now, I think that's probably like the first time that I've probably heard that, which is sort of like, actually in some cases, for some people, it's not as if they're not qualified, but they may need to be invited in, and you may need to invite people in to say, you know what, maybe in the user group, do you want to come speak? So rather than waiting for them to volunteer, which I actually think that in some of the user groups that I'm part of, we do that, where we sort of like go, okay, we give opportunities to volunteer and you're not volunteering, but actually take a step further to go, do you want to speak? Do you want this speaking slot? Do you want to speak at this event and stuff like that? So that was powerful. But Lana, I'll let you also comment on what Laurie said.
Okay, so first off, I want to comment on the first question Laurie answered. She says, she talked about how you can balance your work and home, right? And one thing I pretty much got from that is create your workspace different from your home space. I think that's a lot of mistake that most people get to make. I personally, I think I'm actually caught up in that web right now, because this this is my home office and is right here in my living room. My living room has literally turned into my home office, right? And there is really no distinction between my personal life and my work life. It's like 24 hours work life. That is how it is for me right now. So I think one thing I should do, and every other person out there, is to learn to create a space. Even though you have like an apartment, create a space and say, you know what, this is workspace. And when you're out of that space, you're out of work and you get back to your personal life. Because a lot of us are really, really struggling in managing, work and personal life. And thank you so much, Lauren, for bringing that up. And would try to follow that path to see, if it works for us as well.
Good.
Yep. Awesome. So I think I'll bring back Sheyi. So thanks very much for that, Laurie. So I think I'll bring back Sheyi now. So Sheyi, there's something about the Innovation Center. Should we have the Innovation Center? We'll have the mentees video, and then we have final question for our guests. So by the way, before we get into that, if you're watching these videos live, please put your questions in the chat window, especially ladies that are watching this. Put your question in the chat windows. You have the opportunity to hear from experts, from people that are doing amazing things in the tech space. You have opportunity to ask them your questions and to get answers from them. So please do put your questions in the chat window, and we'll read it to them at the end. But Sheyi, yeah, you have something about the Innovation Center. Do you want to go for that first?
Yes. Can you just help with the slide? Sorry,
Yes.
I've been following, but it has been crazy out here when it comes to internet, and I got a lot of things. I caught with a lot of information. One from Jumoke, he said you keep pushing yourself. So if you're a lady out there and you're looking at a way to get into technology, please, Jumoke, I reference as saying that push yourself every day. And that's also Fonyi saying the same thing. Push yourself every day, make yourself relevant. Because we are in a world that there's a quote by Tabitha. She said men are not always given opportunity, just like what Laura said that you have to create your own world. The world out there want to see the females in technology, whether you are in the polytechnic, you are in the grassroots, and you come out of your shell, get on board. There are mentors here that can help you do that. And our innovation center this month is we are looking at someone. She's a lady, and she's a mom too. She created an environment for herself, which she targets one child, one help. Can you just put that slide?
Yes.
I don't know whether Ronke is
It's
on.
up now.
She's yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Ronke, you are there. Good.
Yes. Yes.
So you're welcome once. Yes. Okay. Can you help me, David? Can you help me with the next slide
Okay.
so that I can just introduce her to the whole. Now I've been following her from a distance, and one thing I noticed about her is the passion toward the less privileged, passion towards kids that are not up to, and she's ready to gear towards helping them. And she goes to the extent of bringing out women, ladies, and empowering them, encourage them. She's a graduate herself, the grad of electrical electronics engineer from one of the universities in Nigeria. And from there, she has done so many certifications on her own path to create her own world. But what interests me is a new dive to make one child, one care initiative to empower privilege with technology, especially IT. And recently collaborated with Microsoft and was able to do something for the kids in that particular environment. I don't want to talk for you, Ronke. I just want you to introduce yourself and tell us your own story. I've been telling your story for you.
Thank you, and you've been doing it well. Thank you. Thank you, Shay. Thank you so much. Thank you. My name is Aderike Onipete. Like Shay said, I'm the founder of the NGO called One Child, One Care Initiative, and we've been on for the past 14 years. We started with the welfare, just basic welfare for less privileged children and few empowerment skills. Like creatives, like arts and craft, like beading and all that. Of course, then if there's no food in the tummy, there's no how those things are going to sink. So welfare has to go along with it. But over time, with the way the world is developing and the world is changing, it's becoming globalized and especially with soft skills. So we realize that we need to also scale up a little and empower the young ones, between the young ones between 10 and 25 thereabout, and get them empowered in IT as well. So luckily we've been looking for opportunities. We're basically doing just share with them what we know with computer literacy. Unfortunately, lately we're able to get opportunity, the platform to partner with Microsoft, and Tech for Development to train young young adult teenagers, those just finishing secondary school, still in university, waiting for admission, or those are waiting for NYSC, to serve their country and all that. So it's been fantastic. They've gone already like 2 weeks into the program, and the feedback has been amazing. The participants never saw this coming, and they've always thought it's going to be an ad call for them. But for the past 2 weeks, they've just been saying they can't wait for the next level, because they are going to have it for the next 3 months. And from the basic, they move to the intermediate, then they move to the advanced. And so we are so encouraged with their feedback, in the sense that we realize that beyond the degree now the soft skill is very important. Whatever degree you have, you need to renovate it better. You need to relearn on it and make it worldwide, make it versatile. You can be this graduate, but there must be a way that technology must fuse into what you're doing, or else it will become irrelevant. Technology must have a say in what you're doing. So beyond these young ones learning this thing, we're also looking at it to empower their families as well. Most of them are from very low income families. Even those so-called average families, is expensive keeping up to the economy in Nigeria right now. So this is another way to create extra income for them. And beyond this, we're also looking at ways to also put in digital marketing for them as well. So even beyond them learning the computer literacy, they now start making income from what they've learned, trying to manage people's accounts, social media accounts, trying to sell the product and services that their mothers are, making at home, trying to make it easy for themselves to get fund in, help themselves with their other ventures, then of course help their families as well. And we have 22 young girls already on board. Many are on the waiting list already. And so we are open to partnerships, we are open to support as well. But we are just grateful that it's been amazing, and it's a big way for me. I have a background in engineering, even though I'm not practicing, but it's always been a flair for me. It's always been something I am passionate about, and I still practice it. And I like the part that I'm doing it in empowering the young ones. So it's been a fulfilling journey for us.
Yeah, Ironke, uh, there's several dimensions to what you said. I can
Yeah.
see the passion, and why I'm so much connected with you is because you want to get to the grassroots. I believe that the grassroots is where we have untapped
Yeah.
talent, and from your view, and from what you said, and let me just give you Lawrence just wrote here that he would definitely get in contact with you. Laura is a
Thank you.
program manager in Microsoft on
Thank you.
something on your initiative. So
Thank you,
just
Lord.
keep your mind open for that.
Thank you.
Then uh, what I want to ask is that, the world generally for female is very slim.
Yes. Yes.
How do you combine your initiative, your one child care, to also bring out ladies, especially from this drive of digital literacy that you are giving them, to empower them and encourage them? I saw from your picture, I saw so many female that I was impressed.
A lot.
And I said,
Yes. Yes.
how do you go about it? Yeah. How do you go about it? What was your passion? What was your move at that time?
Yeah, for the female, I use myself all the time as an example, and I tell young female that every opportunity I get, to meet a young person, if he's female, I'm sorry, my gender is special to me, so please allow me. So if he's a female, I have, how will I say it, a little soft spot, and I go the extra mile to make it happen. I get responses like, I don't like computer, it's boring, and I tell them that, babe, we stay on the phone, we stay with social media for like minimum in a day, like 2 to 3 hours. Is it not better to make it count? If you can browse on people's celebrities and see what they do and all that, why don't you make it more meaningful? It's fun if you choose to make it fun. So I tell her that if you can drive me, then it can drive you. I was just like, we're like 5 girls in my class when I was in school, when I was reading engineering, and they did not. I didn't have anybody to bully me. I didn't even give room for it, because I know that if they read 1 hour, I have to do 2 hours, because I have to prove a point. If they do 4 hours, I have to do 6 hours, because I have to let them know that my gender should not be back up because I'm a female. I can do what you can do. I don't want you to give me a pity party support. I want you to give me because I deserve it, I work for it, and I'm going to get it. And so I tell all of them. So when they came for interview for this training, I told the young girls, I want you guys to do more than the guys. I want you guys to show me that this person that started this initiative is a female, then we must represent I gave them just a psyche, just to psych them up, because I know they can do it. There's nothing extraordinary about it. I know they can deliver. I gave them examples of great Nigerian women in those in tech, those in politics, those in finance, those in corporate world. And I told them we have over 40% of Nigerian women right now leading financial institutions. So we are no exceptions when it comes to tech. And I told them of tech ladies too that are doing great. We have She Codes Nigeria. We have a whole lot of them. And funny enough, let me tell you, during the last long break that the children had, we had a coding class. And one of the best of them was a girl, and she did fantastically well. I showed them videos of what the girl did in class, how she was able to put her apps together. And so that, of course, gingered them more. And from the feedback I've gotten from the facilitators so far, the females have been very responsive. They've been interactive. They've been putting their quota, their whole mind to it. And I'm looking forward to them doing excellently well more. So it's not a thing of pity party, like I tell them. No, don't think your beauty or whatever you have will give you that extra. You must put in the work as well. You must deliver. Performance is very key. Excellence there's no underestimating it. It has to be excellent. There's nothing. I'm not going to rub your head because you're a female. I will treat you the way you are as a male, but you must deliver. So it's by excellence, and your heart must be on the job. And so far, they've been doing well. And I say again this, when we do our outreaches as well, when you do empowerment, what we do for the female, which we know that is always the challenge with them, is that the welfare. Most of the young girls in the grassroots always have challenge with health. What the young men used to lure them is always money, a better life, and all that. So what we do first is that we speak to them like as if we've been in their shoes. We have a heart-to-heart talk with them. What are your challenges? What do you wish as a girl that many have there that you don't have? And of course, most of the time, what we get is they can't even afford sanitary pads. They can't even afford the basic things. So we make provisions for these things from the beginning. We give them the toiletries, we give them sanitary, we give them basic things. And we now tell them that to sustain this, you need to be empowered. You cannot wait for people to give you to you on the table. When they want to give it to you for free, definitely know that you will need to sacrifice something for it. And your body should not be that. If you are going to give anybody money to pay you, then it must be your brains. You must be able to deliver on your brains. You may be able to tell them that I deserve to be on the high seat because I work for it. And so basically we'll give them the welfare package, and of course they listen. So when you come with that angle, they listen, and that has been working for us. So from that angle, then the education, then the empowerment, then the skill support comes on board, and it's been fantastic. We have one of our support, one of the girls that we support in the orphanage. That became a graduate now, and she just got in a job, and she's doing fantastically well. Yes,
that's great. Ronke, you said something. Women need to put their best on the table.
Yes.
Now, if you are out there, you are hearing Ronke. She's the founder of One Child, One Care Initiative, and is saying your gender does not make you less important or less innovative or less intelligent than any other person there. Just put your best there. And once you put your best there, you will be noticed. I can share the story of Foyin, and I've met Jumoke for ages, and I know her. She is a brain that needs to be tapped. I keep pushing, tell that Jumoke, I want you to be in everything. Why? Because the intelligent drive is there. So please, if you are hearing me and you are out there, you are just finishing from and you want to go into tech, don't be scared. You can do it, as Ronke has proved with those girls in an initiative, and things has come to be. David, what do you feel about this vibe?
Wow, the energy is too strong. If I'm in church, I would have fallen down by now. It's the energy is too strong. So this, it's like what everybody's saying. This is absolutely amazing, and also like the structure that you've put into place to deliver what you've done is absolutely amazing. How can people support you? Is there like somewhere we can go to? How can people reach out? Maybe you need volunteers, you need people to support in
Yes,
some other way.
yes.
How do people get to support you?
Okay, there are many ways. We have a website, one child, one care .org, one child one care .org. Then so you can see all the things that we've been doing, at least a few of them, not all, because we do a whole lot, but by God's grace, the few things that we've been doing. So you can choose to volunteer. You see how to become a volunteer there. We get the notification, and we have a team that work with us. They will call you. We have then we have numbers that you can call. There's a number on the website too as well that you can call. There are different ways to support. We don't always say fund because we know Nigerians, we have trust issues with ourselves. So we tell people you can do support just the way Microsoft Tech for Development is doing with us, bringing the training opportunity, and we are partnering and all that. So you can choose to do that. You can choose to do partnership. You can choose to support, to do donations of items of food, which is important as well. So because as you do mental skill, you also do the stomach skill as well. It's very key. So there's so many ways. It's just for you. We don't really, we just itemize them for you. Then you do your selection of what you want to support. Let me share this. There's this one that someone came to me and said, I don't have fun, but I have a skill. And we've been looking for that skill for a while. And I said, okay, what's your skill? Said, my colleague, I saw your post on chess. Somebody to teach the orphanage children on chess and all that. My colleague is fantastic at it. And I was shocked. When he came to teach the children the chess, it was amazing. Even the nation's newspaper covered it because the response of the children, I just checked them over the weekend, and they sent me videos of what they've been doing when they are back from school. Everything is now, the chess, they are doing so well, and they are looking forward to participating in the competition. So you can see that even it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be whatever skill that you have right now. Skills is over credentials right now. It's skills over credentials. So whatever you have right now that you can use to empower these young ones, we need to keep them busy. The distractions are too much. They are getting too distracted and with social things. And so we need to keep their brains busy. We need to keep them active. We need to keep them connected and focused. They will have fun, as long they will definitely have fun, but we must keep them focused. So anyways, whichever way you feel you can be of help, nothing is invaluable.
Awesome. And Alana, what's your take? I'm interested to hear Alana's take on this also. What's your take on this?
Well, I think one very important thing that I have gotten from all of what Ronke has said is to the girls, have your brains up for exchange. If you're being asked, if you're out there, if you're looking, whatever you're looking for, what do you have for exchange? Your brain should be like your number one go-to exchange, right? You should say, okay, this is the skill I have to offer. This is what I have to give to you in exchange for whatever I am asking for, right? Not your body, not anything else but your brain. So this is like a really amazing opportunity for you to get the skill that you need. And this is being sponsored, it's given to you for free. So all you need to do is make yourself available. And I would want to say that there are a ton of people out there that would want to offer their skill that has been in the industry. They are professionals, and I'm sure that they would want to also volunteer to teach these young ones and to pull them. So if you're out there, if you're listening, and you have a skill that you know that these young ones can pretty much learn from, of course, this is something that you can come forward with and volunteer. Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks very much for
Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely, Ronke, as we have discussed, the MCC Nigeria community will always be ready. And I told you on behalf of people here that when it comes to Microsoft training, especially on the low code, no code area, which can be a very good pointer for the kids, we are readily available. Foyin is a master in that. Jumoke is there. They are all females, and if it's something on high-level technology infrastructure, Olana is a database expert. We have all this in the community. Just bust the call, and we will be ready for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, David.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Awesome, amazing. So next, what we're going to do is that we're going to play some video about that's going to show you the different mentors that we have in our communities. And then when we come back, we're going to have final question for our guests for today. And then we'll get to ask our guests the questions from the audience. So if you have any questions, again, put them in the chat window and we're going to ask our guests at the end of the day. But again, next, we're just going to go through the videos to introduce the different mentors. Make sure you make a note of this, play back the video, contact the different mentors in the different technology areas, reach out to them, just say, hello, I saw a video of you on the community page, and I'm interested in connecting with you. I'm interested in the technology area that you're already working on, right? And they'll be happy to connect with you. So just watch the video and then we'll come back with the final questions. Okay, so Mr. Sheyi, Mr. Sorry, Mr. Sheyi, sorry, Mr. Sheyi and Olana. So I think we're going to go to the final question for our guests. So should we bring in all our guests and then we can ask the final question? So let's bring back all our guests. So we have Jimmy, we have Foyin, we have Laurie, and so I think Olana, I think will you be giving the final question? Oh, your mic is. We can hear that you're saying something amazing, but we can't hear your
Yes,
voice.
yes, yes, yes. Sorry. So basically, I know that all of our guests are up there with the tech career and they had different user groups, different organizations. So basically, what we want now is for our guests to talk us through the different user groups and how can people out there join your user group? How can they connect with you? How can they connect with your community? You want to go first? So tell us about the Power Platform user group and of course the Textiles user group. How can I, connect to those user groups and be a member, be a part of it?
Okay, sure. So we have textilers, and we have well, our page is up on LinkedIn. The textilers, just search for textilers in LinkedIn, and our page is on LinkedIn. On Twitter, we are at tech underscore stylers, and that's basically how you can connect with us. So we'll be happy to have you on Textilers. We also have our October inspirational session coming up, and we're excited to have the amazing women. The country manager for Microsoft Nigeria will be joining us, and we have Labor and Shirley. So Jumoke is going to host that session, and we look forward to having all of you there, whether you are a woman or not. And for the Power Platform Nigeria user group, we have our Twitter handle. You can follow us on Twitter to stay up to date on all of our forthcoming events. We also have the MCT Nigeria user group, which all of the handles will be shared in the chat window. You can follow us. We have an event coming up, very exciting event in November, which we want everyone to also be a part of. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Point. Hi, Jumoke. I think you're next. Your next is arranged that way. So you're next. Just go ahead.
So
Okay. I have a
thank
question.
you. All right, go ahead, Chi.
Okay.
I think that we probably lost Sheyi again. So I
No,
think that okay. I think that
don't
I'm
worry.
sorry.
I will ask afterwards. I think let's just follow the pattern online. This is the way today. So anything Olana says we follow. So perfectly, yeah, yeah.
All right, please go ahead, Jumoke. Tell
Jumoke,
us about your user group and how can we connect with you and the community.
Okay. All right then. Thank you, Shi. So I think Fonya has already said it pretty much on Textiler. And then the other one that I would invite people to talk on would be on the MCT Nigeria M365 community, the user group. Basically, what we do there is mostly everything on Office 365, Windows 10, EMS, and everything M365, Microsoft Teams, and the rest. Plan you can actually join the community. We're on WhatsApp. You can come in, talk, and then you can always. I think our WhatsApp group will be shared in the course of the event as it's going on. We can share it, so you can join the MCT Nigeria. And you can also find more of the information even on the MCT Tech user group. So she is also one of our community leads there on the MCT Nigeria, so you can always join. And then to add to what Fonya said on the textile, we're just a set of women. We call ourselves powerful women, really trying to help more women into the tech space, really. So you can always find the Textiler group on LinkedIn and then Twitter, as you said, and even the WhatsApp. Most interestingly, what I'll ask any one of you to join right now is that there is a cohort going on. Our second cohort is already going on, which is always for a period of 2 months where we train women on different technologies, UI, UX, on M365, on Power Platform, on Azure, on AI and data. So we have a lot of tech mentors that are there for you to are there to coach you really. And then apart from that, we have what is referred to as 360 degree mentors. These three are those people that are going to help you with your career path. So once you can visit the textile and you get more information. Connect to either of myself or Foyin on LinkedIn. You can get more information on that. Thank you, Onana. Over to you, please.
All right, Grace. Thank you so much, Umanke. So please, everyone out there, whether you're male, female, connect with tech stylists to jumpstart your tech career. Basically, that's like the long and short of it. So, Laurie, please briefly tell us about what you do around user groups, communities, and how we can connect with you.
Great. So the one that I am most passionate about is women in teams, and I would love for anybody, women and men, to join Women in Teams. It's ak.ms, Women in Teams. And we also have a Microsoft Tech community, which is where you can ask questions or answer questions, be a guest blogger, etc. And that link is on the screen as well. And that's a great place to get started if you're looking at not only how to help yourself in your current role, but if you're looking at sharing your own information and experiences with people as well. You can answer questions there, but also we'd love to have you guest blog also. And then Microsoft Teams, product feedback, and that is another link there for where we take product feedback, and all of the products at Microsoft are looking for constant feedback. And we don't want to build products in a bubble, so that's very, very important to us. So those are some good places to start. Certainly, if you go to ak.ms community events, you'll see different virtual and in-person community events that are taking place all around the world. And I urge you to jump on those for whatever Microsoft products and services you're most interested in, and just get involved, learn from other people, and don't be afraid to share your own experiences, because even if you think that everybody already knows the content that you're sharing, I guarantee you somebody will take something away from what you're talking about, even if it's just a different perspective. So thanks for being part of the community and being here today.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Get involved and don't be afraid to share. And no matter how much you think you know, you would always get to pick up something. I think that is something I always get to tell my colleagues, right? So especially when it comes to Microsoft technologies, Microsoft pushes out new updates every day, every week, every month. So no matter how much you think you know, just sign up to even if it's a beginner's course, and you definitely learn something new. So Shay, please, over to you. Okay, so if Shay is not speaking now, we can basically just run through the other user groups.
Yeah. Finally, because of our time,
Please go ahead, Shay. We can run through the other user groups that have not, come up to speak.
Okay. In the final note, my take home from here is to understand that it takes your agility, ability to look beyond where you are to get to where you want to be. As a female, gender is not a limitation for you. And for us in the grassroots here, and I'm calling out every female going to take over there. Try to connect. We are trying to build a website for the grassroots movement where we have all these mentor share, and you can easily chat to them, connect with them, and have another conversation in terms of what you want to do, because we are getting different call. I was speaking to her ago, University of Benin, and I met a lady, and she was asking me a question. I wish she was there, or Juma. She said she's a lady. She has passion. She wants to go to party and needs a mentor. See that the grassroots innovation is going far and going far and wide, and we need people to connect with those mentors. So we are coming up with that website where you can easily chat with your mentor and have them talk to you one on one. And that's one final note for today. David, Anna, it has been a bumpy ride.
Yeah, thanks.
You can take it off from there.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. That was really amazing. And again, just because of time, apologies, we may not be able to take questions from the audience. But there's just one final question that I would absolutely love to hear the take of our amazing guest today. I'd love to hear your take on this, because I'm sure that others that are currently watching us would like to learn from this. So just go maybe like for 1 minute each, if you just share this with us, and we'll go with Laurie first, then we go with Jimmy, and then we go with Foyi. So if you look all the way to your career and all the amazing things that you've achieved so far, is there anything that you would do differently? Is there anything that you advise someone to say, okay, if I wanted to do things again, I would do things a bit differently in this way? So Lovey first, and then Jimmy, and then Foyi, and then we'll bring everything to a close for today.
I never want to say I should have done things differently, because I'm so happy where I've ended up. But if I looked back at my former self, my younger self, probably the advice that I would have given myself is to not ask for permission so much. Just be passionate about what you do and go and just do it. And if you think that you need to ask permission, have a plan and put something together, but don't be afraid to go and tell people what you want to do. Open your mouth, and don't be afraid, because I think that looking back, one of the things that I didn't do is tell people what I wanted to do as much as I should have. And so that's probably my one piece of advice, and something that I wish I would have been more confident about, understanding that it's okay to tell people what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And because when you're passionate about what you love, you're going to do so much better than when you're just doing the job and checking the boxes and trying to get out for the day. So.
That's amazing, Lovey. Thanks very much for that. That's powerful. Don't ask for permissions. Don't be afraid.
Well, I don't know. Don't quote me on that one.
In the context of what Love is saying. So don't be afraid to go tell people what you want to do. That's amazing. So over to you, Jimmy. So what would you do anything differently if given the opportunity?
Thank you. All right. Yeah, thanks, David. To be honest, is there anything I would really want to have differently? I'm not too sure about that. Maybe I would have loved to program. I would have loved a bit of programming, so to say. Maybe, but I think the fact that I can share ideas and I can be creative and innovative at the same time, and then relate my ideas to people, and then help them to be more creative, I think is enough. So maybe what I would have loved again to do, apart from maybe what I'm doing now, is to see, maybe I know my developers hearing this, they'll be saying, "Hey, she has said it." I would have loved I would have loved to be a developer at least. But then I'm grateful to God for the journey so far, and then where I am today. If the other part of it that I would have loved to do differently is growing up as a female or coming up as a female in IT. I think that those are the things that probably maybe, which is one of the passion really I have in having to join Pui to see how we can mentor a lot of these female. There are certain things, there are certain comments, there are certain attitudes that probably maybe in coming up in our career paths, most especially as female. And then we think because not everything is biased. I mean, not all men are that. There are, when you at your career paths and done differently, mostly as a female, not taking it for granted, you would have, if you had someone probably to mentor you right, especially around that, mentor you right is where those are the things that you would have done differently. And then I think that's I don't I'm with this passion. I don't want upcoming female to make that same mistake. And so those are the things we are trying to help them with. Not taking for granted that your gender, like one we say, being a female is a gender. It is not like it is not what defines the inherent skills that God has given you or what you have to display that potential in you. So not trying to be apologetic for your gender, and then not trying to hide yourself, that hide yourself, not being able to speak out, hide yourself, that okay, where especially when you face the option of being shut up, you know shut out in comments and all of that. So those are the things that I would have loved to do differently. Maybe I would have just wanted to be more vocal than I mean more vocal.
There's a team here. There's a team that's coming across here. So I'm glad I'm here to listen to hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think those are the only things I would love to do differently. But all in all, it's been been a very wonderful journey so far, and I'm enjoying every part of it, even up till now. So I think, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, Jimmy. And finally, for you, so would you do anything differently if given the opportunity?
Okay, so you see reasons why Jumoke is my sister, First of all, when you asked the question, her first response was my response. And so Laurie said the same thing. So I don't really think that there is something I feel I would have done differently, right? And then her next statement was maybe programming. I said, okay. That's exactly what I wanted to say. So maybe programming. I now when I think back, I said, you know what, I should have just done this thing like some 7 years ago. I should have just done it, but I kept feeling. But the good thing is, I guess that's what made me venture into low code, right? Because I didn't know how to code, and I was really passionate about doing all of this innovative stuff. And once the low code platform came out, I just grabbed it with both hands because it gave me the power to do those things. So yes, but I think most importantly is having self-belief. When I started out in my career, I started out very early. I didn't know much, like literally nothing when I started out, and I was a bit like withdrawn and feeling like, oh, I don't know this thing. But I was grateful for the men. The men I've had, like all my careers, I think all of my bosses have been men at 2 levels, first level, and they've all been my allies, kind of supporting me and saying, you can do this, you can do this. So I was fortunate to have those kind of people around me, right? That was saying, you can do this. There's no big deal in it. And that kind of started to boost my confidence. And I discovered that I was actually doing it, So, from being successful and successful and successful, your confidence level starts to rise. But the truth is, you may not be that lucky to have very positive people around you. You may have negative people around you. So you need to be your own cheerleader, right? You need to build that self-confidence in you and believe that I can do this. And I still tell myself today, for you can do it. The people that are doing it, they don't have 2 heads. You can do it. So I'm my biggest cheerleader. I look at myself and say, for you, this thing, you are going to do it. You will pass this exam. And with that, all of that energy and all of that, cheerleading, when it's just me and myself, I find out that I'm actually doing it.
Wow.
So start sharing yourself from the beginning, even if you don't have the track record of success yet, even if you're just venturing into tech and you're like, man, did I make the right decision? This thing is so hard, be your own cheerleader and say, yes, I can do this, I will do this, I must do this. I saw Laurie's wall, he said, I can and I will, so say that to yourself, I can and I will do this. So that's it.
That's amazing. Wow, this has been an amazing program. And again, I know that we've gone a bit over time, but it's so interesting to see that actually the audience have really stayed connected with us all through, and it's amazing to see. So thanks very much, everyone. Thanks very much, Olana. It's been amazing co-moderating with you. It's been awesome. Thanks very much, Laurie, for joining us all the way from the US. Thanks very much for sharing some very, very interesting insights for us.
Yeah.
One of the key takeaways that I took away from one of the things that you said is about inviting people into opportunities. That was powerful. Thanks very much, Jumi, for, again, the amazing insights that you shared about just go for it, right? don't let that be, don't let anything be your limitation. Go for it. And thanks very much for what you've also shared, especially the last one that you shared about be your own cheerleader. There may be situations where you're lucky enough to have positive people around you, but there may be situations where you find yourself where you have negative people around you, and sometimes in some of the context that some of us are from. So just be your own cheerleader. It's been awesome. And Mr. Sheyi, the community man himself, every time you say something, I'm making notes, right? Every time. You're a true community man. Really appreciate you a lot. You're amazing, right? And together with the amazing guests that we have, thanks very much, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time. Make sure you connect with our guest on LinkedIn. Until next time, have a lovely rest of the weekend. And bye for now, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ní kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹ̀wọ̀n.